Welcome to ASMR Mysteries. Tonight, I'll take you somewhere most people would never dare to go. Deep beneath a house that should have been left to rot. After my grandmother died, I inherited her home, a crumbling Victorian relic at the edge of town. But what I found in the basement wasn't just old furniture or forgotten memories. I found a hidden door. A door she swore should never be opened. But I did. And I've been trying to forget what came out ever since. Turn off the lights. Put on your headphones. And listen carefully. This isn't just a story. This is a warning.
When my grandmother passed away, the town barely noticed. She lived alone for years, tucked away in a decaying Victorian house on the edge of town, a place we were warned never to visit after dark. As the only living relative, the house became mine. I hadn't been inside since I was a kid, and even then, only once. I remember her hands, cold, bony, and always trembling, at her whispering to my mother, "The door must remain shut, always." I returned to the house the evening after her funeral. The paint was peeling, ivy strangled the outer walls, and the windows looked like empty eyes watching me. The front door creaked open before I even touched it, like it had been waiting. The air inside was thick with dust and the scent of something old. Not just time old, but earth old, like stone and rot. The floorboards moaned with every step, and the silence was too loud. It was like the house knew she was gone, and I was the new occupant. I explored room by room, a flashlight in hand. Everything was preserved like a shrine. Her clothes, her teacups, even her knitting, half finished. But when I reached the basement door, something inside me shifted. It was colder there. The knob was ice. I tried to open it. Locked, of course. But then I noticed something I hadn't seen before. Deep scratch marks around the frame, like someone or something had tried to get out. That night, I dreamed of my grandmother whispering to me from the basement, her voice rasping through the floorboards. "Don't open it. It's still down there."
I didn't sleep that night. Her voice, the one from the dream, kept echoing in my head. "Don't open it. It's still down there." But morning came, and the sunlight made me feel stupid. It was just a dream. A bad one, right? By noon, I was back at the basement door. The metal lock was old, rusted, but sturdy. I could have left it alone. I should have. But I didn't. I found a crowbar in the shed and forced it open. The snap of the lock felt louder than it should have, like something had been waiting for it to break. The stairs behind the door were stone, cracked, uneven, the kind you'd expect in a dungeon, not a family home. With every step I took, the temperature dropped. My breath fogged in the air. The flashlight flickered. At the bottom, there was a long corridor, damp lined with old wooden beams that looked like they would collapse with a sigh. And then I smelled it. That awful scent. Decay, but sweet, like something dead and rotting with sugar. There was no furniture, no boxes, just a concrete wall at the end. But there, almost hidden, was a second door, smaller, carved into the stone. The wood was blackened like it had been burned and sealed shut with nails. Dozens of them. Someone wanted this door to stay closed forever. And as I got closer, my flashlight died. Complete darkness swallowed me. And in that silence, I heard it. The faint, shallow breathing, not mine, coming from behind the blackened door. Then, something knocked back.
I stood frozen in that pitch-black corridor, my heart pounding so hard it echoed in my ears. That breathing, it was real, slow, wet, heavy. It was right on the other side of the door. I don't know why I touched it. My hand moved on its own, brushing it against the burned wood. It was warm, not like room temperature warm. No, it was like touching skin. Then the breathing stopped. For a moment the silence was absolute, and just when I thought maybe I imagined it all, the door creaked. The nails began to pull out one by one, like they were being unscrewed from the inside. I stumbled back, nearly falling, my dead flashlight still in my hand. But then light, not from the bulb, but from beneath the door. A soft, flickering, sickly red glow, like candlelight mixed with blood. And then I heard her, my grandmother, but not as I remembered. Her voice was deeper, slower, like something imitating her. She said, "Why did you open it? You let it smell you now." I ran up the stairs, 2 at a time. I didn't stop until I slammed the basement door shut. I locked it, barricaded it, sat with my back pressed against the wood, panting like I'd outrun something from a nightmare. Then I heard the knock again, but it wasn't from below anymore. It was behind me, inside the house.
I didn't sleep that night. How could I? Every shadow felt too thick, every sound too deliberate. The knock I heard behind the basement door had moved closer. At exactly 2:41 a.m., I heard footsteps. Slow, heavy, deliberate. They started at the end of the upstairs hallway, then paused, then moved again, step by step toward my bedroom door. I stayed frozen in bed, blankets up to my chin like I was 5 years old again. But the air was cold. I could see my breath. Then the doorknob turned. Just slightly. Just enough to make that faint metallic creak. But it didn't open. It didn't have to. Because whatever it was whispered through the crack. "I'm out now." The next morning, I found muddy footprints on the wooden floor outside my door. They weren't mine. I hadn't left my room. That day, I tried to call someone, anyone. My phone had no signal. The landline was dead. I ran outside to drive away, but the car wouldn't start. Battery completely drained.
It was like the house had sealed itself and me inside. When night came again, I boarded up my bedroom door. Every sound in the house was louder now. Cabinets slamming, floorboards groaning. Sometimes I swore I heard my name whispered from behind the walls. But the worst part, the mirrors. They started fogging up, and on the glass, letters would appear, written in the condensation, backwards. Always the same message. Let me in.
The third night, I didn't sleep at all. The knocking had stopped, but the silence was worse. It felt intentional, like the house was waiting for me to move first. I kept the lights on, though they flickered constantly. I needed to do something or I'd go mad. So I decided to clear out the upstairs study. Maybe a distraction would help. Maybe I could pretend none of this was real. Behind the old desk, the wallpaper I'd peeled back. There was rocked behind it, soft, damp wood. I touched it and the panel gave way with a crack. It wasn't part of a wall, it was a hidden compartment. Inside was a leather-bound journal, brittle, covered in mold. The first page was dated October 11th, 1956. It was signed by someone named Margaret Blackwood, my grandmother. The entries started out normal. Complaints about the weather, loneliness after my grandfather died. But then they turned darker, obsessive, paranoid. She wrote, "It watches from behind the door. It speaks in dreams. It knows when I'm awake." Further in, she wrote about rituals, about sealing it, about how it feeds on memory and follows bloodlines. My bloodline. There was one passage underlined 3 times. "If the door is ever opened, it will not stop with me. It will want the last of us." I closed the journal with shaking hands. My skin was cold. I could feel something in the house shift, like it knew I had read the truth. I couldn't keep it in the house. That journal, just holding it, made me feel sick, like it pulsed, like it breathed. I took it outside, into the overgrown garden behind the house. It was nearly midnight. I built a small fire in a rusted metal barrel, lit a match, and dropped the journal in without hesitation. For a moment, it caught flame like anything else. The leather hissed. The pages curled. But then, it screamed. Not like a human, not like an animal. It was this wet, horrible shriek, like steam escaping from a throat. I stumbled back, nearly fell over. The fire turned green, the smell like burning air and rotting meat. The wind died. Everything went still. And from behind me, in the tall weeds of the garden, I heard movement. Heavy, slow, breathing again. I ran back into the house, slammed the door, locked it, and just stood there, shaking. And then, from the living room, the TV turned on by itself. Static at first, then an image. It was a live video feed of me, standing at the front door. But I wasn't holding the camera. And something was standing just behind me in the frame.
That night, I made a decision. I wasn't going to die in that house. I didn't care if the car wouldn't start. I'd run if I had to. I just had to leave. Now. I packed nothing I didn't even change my clothes. I grabbed my keys, my phone, and ran. Outside, the night was too still. The sky looked wrong, like the stars were smeared, as if the universe had turned its face away from that place. I made it to the road, hoped for a passing car. Nothing came, so I walked for hours, my feet blistered. I didn't look back. When I finally reached a gas station at dawn, I felt safe for the first time in days. Fluorescent lights, coffee machines, people, normal things. But when I looked in the bathroom mirror, my reflection didn't move. I blinked. It didn't. It just stood there. Then it smiled. I backed away in horror. My heart thudded in my throat. I ran outside, but no one else noticed. It was like they couldn't see it, or me. And that's when I realized it didn't stay in the house. It followed me. And now it's wearing my face.
It doesn't just follow me, it becomes me. Each day, it gets better. The reflection in the mirror now blinks with me, breathes with me, but I know it's not me. I started filming myself while I sleep, just to prove to myself I was still human. But last night, around 3:12 a.m., I sat up on camera, only I don't remember it. Worse, I spoke, my voice clear, calm, but it said something I never would. He's not strong enough. We're almost through. Almost through what? That's when I remembered a page from the journal, one I hadn't read before. It had drawings, circles, a shape like an eye, and the words. It made Safesm, a mirror, a name. It wants to be known. It wants a doorway. And I think my grandmother trapped it by making people forget, keeping the house sealed, staying alone. But I opened the door. I spoke its name. And now it's using me to reach others. You're watching this. You're hearing my voice. But are you sure? It's me you're hearing. It's not the basement door anymore. It's the door in my mind. Every night, I wake up feeling like something is just behind it. Pressing, waiting to get in. I tried to fight it. Tried to distract myself with work, friends, anything. But the whispers grew louder, clearer. It's not just a presence anymore, it's a voice. A presence that feeds on fear and on my memories. I remember things I never lived, faces I've never seen, places I don't recognize. All part of its hunger. Last night, I dreamt the door opened, and behind it was nothing, just endless darkness. But that darkness was alive, writhing, reaching for me. I screamed, woke up soaked in sweat.
But when I looked around my room, the shadows, they moved. The final door is no longer in the basement. It's inside me, and I fear if it opens, I won't be coming back.
I packed my bags again. I tried to leave, but this time, the house wasn't just a place. It's a curse, a shadow that clings to your soul. No matter where I run, no matter how far, it's there. In every reflection, every whisper, every silence. Last night, I woke up outside the house. I don't remember how I got there, but the door, it was open, and standing in the threshold was her, my grandmother, her eyes hollow, her smile cold. She said, "You can't run from what's inside you. The door never closes." Now I'm trapped, not by walls or nails, but by my own mind. And if you're listening, I'm afraid it's coming for you too. Thank you for joining me tonight on ASMR Mysteries. If you felt chills crawling down your spine, remember, you're not alone. This story isn't just mine, it's a warning whispered through time. If you want to dive deeper into the shadows and uncover more forgotten secrets, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Until next time, keep your doors locked and your mind even tighter. Sleep well if you can.